do roll. Joyce Miller,
Here.
Gary Susich,
Here.
Yolanda Roberts,
Here.
and I'm Matt Wissing, and here, so we have a quorum. Our first item of business today, oh, that scared me, are minutes of the July meeting. Does anybody have any additions or corrections? If not, I'll ask for approval of the July 15th minutes.
I'll make a motion that we approve their minutes.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we approve the minutes of the July meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Matt, do you have your thing on? Do you have your mic on? Okay. I can
Maybe
hear
not
her,
mine.
but I can't hear.
Yeah.
Okay, I turned off the
The other one.
the mutes. I'm sorry. Okay, next we'll go to the financial reports for July. Destiny, do you have anything you want to?
I'll just make note that this is the start of a new fiscal year, so not all journal entries have been done for the city, because it takes a little bit longer to close out their year end, and July kind of doesn't get closed out when it should be, or not that it should be, but when it normally is. So these numbers are all that was in the system when I did the financials, but they're not complete for the month of July. But it's a new fiscal year, so it's going to be a fresh start. I mean, all of our numbers are going to be low to start out with. You can see some of the insurances get paid right away, but it's the start of a new fiscal year. So, did you have a question, Yolanda?
Well, as far as like approving my financials, I don't feel comfortable approving them if this is not it. You know,
That's up to you guys. We always have done it this way in the past, but if you aren't comfortable approving them, we can table them till next month. That's up to you guys.
that's my suggestion.
Just to make sure everything, would you like to move to table that, Yolanda, till next month?
Right.
Okay, is
That's
there,
just my suggestion. You don't have to.
okay. Is there a second for that, to table the financials until we get the final numbers next month?
I'll second it.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to table the financial report for July until next month. All those in favor, say
Aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Okay. Thirdly is the occupancy report for July.
The 1911 West 75th Place was just filled today by another tenant in public housing. She just moved to a larger bedroom size, so we'll have a 2-bedroom now available. So we're still gonna have 2 vacancies. And then the 526 West 7th Street, the tenant was evicted for lease violations. So that's the 2 in public housing. At the Heritage, I don't remember 905 for sure who that was to tell you why they moved out. That might have been an eviction. That may have been the tenant that brought a taser to another tenant. 1102 went to a nursing home. And then for Section 8, we're continuing to try and fill vouchers off the waiting list. However, you can see that's not going very well.
Why do you think that is?
It takes a while for people to bring in their paperwork to get approved. We send them a letter telling them what to bring to their appointment, and they don't always bring all of that to their first appointment, which then delays the process. We've had people that don't disclose their criminal record, which then we drop. We've had 3 out of 4 of our housing coordinators on vacation. Mike was out for 2 weeks. Amy was out for a week. Lindsay was out for 3 days. So we've been short-staffed. But I just got approval from my director to allow them to use comp time to work over to fill vacancies from the waiting list. So we're going to try that for a little bit and hope to get some vouchers pulled.
Destiny, I meant to ask when you were talking about the Heritage, maybe you can give us an update about that fire that happened recently.
Yeah, so we had a tenant smoking a cigarette, which is a no smoking building, believed to have fell asleep smoking a cigarette and caught her chair on fire. She was able to get out of the apartment. Our apartments are all concrete walls, so it was contained to just the one apartment. But we had major water damage throughout the whole building because the sprinkler system went off and ran for a long time. So we just actually, Werner just came in before I came here this afternoon. They are just finishing up drying out 610, which is where the fire happened. And so all other units have been dried out, and they're just our rehab contractors working on fixing drywall and any kind of repairs that need to happen.
Where do those tenants go?
The one that caused the fire,
Um,
well, we only had, I think, 4 displaced on the first day when it happened. One was the fire person, and then the other 3 were just because of extensive water damage. And none of them had renter's insurance, so then Red Cross steps in to help them. It wasn't a fire caused by our negligence, so we aren't responsible for providing housing for them. That's where renter's insurance would come into play for them. So
how many people utilize renter's insurance? Because I'm sure that's kind of.
we don't
pricey.
keep track, we don't ask. Actually, renter's insurance is really cheap. It's only like $10-15 a month.
Are they encouraged to get when they're?
Yeah, we
applying?
talked, we always mention it to
Okay,
them,
I
but
just never
we're
thought of that.
actually going to have our insurance company come in, and we're going to have like an actual meeting with the tenants to go over, explain how important it is to have renter's insurance, and just fire protocol and stuff like that, because unfortunately people pull the fire alarm, and so people just don't get out of the building. But this was like an active, like, smoke bellowing out of the window, like an actual
Yeah.
fire that even the next door neighbor didn't leave. He stayed in his apartment. And so by the time the fire department got up there, the fire was out. It was just smoke and the water coming down, and they told him he could just stay in his apartment by that time because there was no danger to him. But the fire was right next to him, and he didn't even leave his apartment. And that's not safe. Like, everybody, if there's an active fire, you should leave the building.
And didn't the fire department do a floor by floor?
Yeah,
sweep?
yep. And they asked us, if there were any handicapped or disabled individuals that we were worried about, and so, we were able to.
Which is probably a lot of people.
Yeah, but so when the fire alarm goes off like that, it shuts down our elevators, so they can only
Right.
use the stairs. And so then they were able to help people down as needed to get out of the building.
So the lady that caused the fire then, is she still a tenant there?
She's been put up for termination. We have to give 30-day notice before the first of the month, so she has until September 30th technically is when her lease ends. However, her unit is not livable, so she's not in the building.
Would that be, let me see how I should word this. Would that be considered immediate termination,
No.
or it could be, this is your first violation?
Nope, it's a termination. She had 10 days to appeal, which would have gone to administrative law judge, but she chose not to appeal the decision. So it was a regular 30-day notice to her of termination. It wasn't an immediate eviction or anything like that, but it was tenant caused. It was against our policy for no smoking. She's been given warnings about the no smoking policy.
Before.
Yeah.
So what if she had not given warnings? Would this just be a warning? Or
No.
is it because of how,
Extensive. She caused
yeah.
a lot of damage to the building, not only with the smoke and fire in her own apartment, but the water damage because of it. And then we aren't getting assisted on that unit by HUD right now. We're losing subsidy on that because of this fire. So it's a determination no matter what. Now, if it would have been something that she would have said, you know, I didn't cause it, wasn't my fault, like she could have appealed it and gone to administrative law judge, and then the judge would have made that decision. But she admitted to smoking, and there was nothing to argue.
Should have switched to vape.
Well, unfortunately, she had just come in and paid her rent and told us that she had been down at the bar and had a few drinks and was going home to lay down for a little bit. So,
There you go.
yep, she.
Like
Yep.
People will say they only smoke when they drink, and I say, well, how often do you drink? That's another story.
Yeah. It's almost automatic. Drink, and there's a cigarette in the hand.
Okay, if there's no other questions, I'll ask for approval of the occupancy report for July.
I make a motion to approve the occupancy report for July.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the occupancy report for July. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Okay, on to this resolution, 2019-03.
I don't know if you
You
guys have
wanna-
any questions. If you guys want to look through it, it's same annual certification that we do every year. We just have to say, you know, whether we're doing these things that we have to be doing or not. We're doing everything that we should be doing, except I will point out that on the second page, number 5, it asks for HQS quality control. I have never known anybody previous to me to do this, and I was not aware of this until I started working on it for this year, that we have to re-inspect a sample of our units, and it's based off the number of vouchers that we have. So we have to re-inspect 17 vouchers this year, which now has been brought to my attention. So we are going to come up with a plan to do that. We actually just talked about it at our staff meeting on Friday. But I did have to answer no to that because that has not been done. In the past, I believe that was falsely answered, but nothing I can do about that.
'Cause I don't recall this in the past. I don't know
It's always been answered as yes in the past, and to any of our knowledge in our office, nobody's ever
if, is
re-inspected.
it self-inspect?
Yeah, we have to
self-assessment?
actually, somebody, so we have to inspect every unit, every new unit, and then every other year we have to re-inspect them as they renew. So what this requirement is that somebody else goes back and re-inspects a sample of units.
I mean, like somebody from an outside?
No, somebody in our office, but a different person that did the first inspection.
Oh, I see.
So basically double checking.
Just to double check.
Yeah, that that it is approved and does meet HQS requirements. And to our knowledge, this has never been done, but it's always been a question on the CMAP certification. And so I probably missed it last year, I'll be honest with you, but this year it caught my attention.
Busy.
Yeah, it caught my attention this year, and so now we know, and now we'll fix it for years going forward. But so we'll lose a couple points for that because we weren't doing that. But otherwise, everything else,
So
We're
when it
doing
says
correctly.
The inspection, re-inspected sample, what are they doing when they go?
they're just going to do a whole other inspection. They're just going to inspect it like it would be their first time going to it, but it's going to be a different inspector going to do it the second time, so they'll be able to catch if there's any issues. I myself am not HQS certified, which you don't have to be HQS certified, but it's good to have that knowledge because I wouldn't be able to walk into a house and tell you if it passed or not because I haven't had the training that I feel is proper. We have 4 housing coordinators that have all been HQS certified.
That was the question I was gonna ask. How
Yeah.
many are-
All 4 of them are HQS certified. They've been through the training in Kansas City. And so they're the ones that will take turns re-inspecting. And we have to do it throughout the year, and we have to do it in different neighborhoods. So I'll just put it in, a spreadsheet and do a random draw.
How
It's based on how many active vouchers we have. So it's not on here, but it says to see this 24 CAFR 995.2, and that's where it explains how many. So for how many vouchers we have right now, we have to do 17 through the fiscal year. So it amounts to like 1.5 a month, basically. So I'll figure that out as we go, but basically 1 or 2 a month will be re-inspected. And we have 4 housing coordinators that do them, so it won't hurt their time or anything like that.
Do we need to approve this, or should we wait till after the certification?
This has to be approved in order for me to turn it into HUD by the end of this month.
Yeah, because you already answered it no.
Yeah. This is due to HUD by August 31st.
Okay, and then when will the re-inspections?
Every month we'll have to do 1 or 2.
So the next.
It has to go through the
So
whole
it'll be
fiscal
all in
year.
one. Okay,
And then
Gotcha.
this CMAP is just due annually.
gotcha. Okay.
Just for my own curiosity, what does HQS stand for?
Housing Quality Standard.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Try not to talk. in too
I
many
know.
acronyms.
I apologize.
Feel free to ask.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yeah.
so that's just the training that each housing coordinator took in order to do inspections. It's not required by HUD to be HQS certified, but we felt that it was a good training that they should have in order to be able to walk into a house and determine if this pipe is working correctly, if the toilet's flushing, if the light switches are working. I mean, some of it's basic common knowledge, but some other stuff, I mean, I wouldn't think of everything that you have to check that they know because they went through the training. And I could get the HQS certified, but I don't do it. The only time I would have to do it is to do these re-inspections. We have 4 people in the office that can do that, so there's no use in spending a couple $1,000s to have me trained to do this when I'm not going to do it on a regular basis.
Gotcha. Okay, well, if there's no other questions about this, I'll move Resolution 2019-03, Section 8 Management Assessment Program, CMAP certification. Is there a motion to accept?
I do have
Sure.
just opinion on something. I understand it would save us money for you not to go. You'd be qualified to do one of these, but for me, I think it would be beneficial because you are the manager. You know what I mean? And
But I
so-
don't go out in the field.
No, I understand that. I totally understand that, but I just think it's something as a manager should know how to do in case anything were to happen, whether you utilize it or not. But I also know that you don't go out there in the field, and then it would save the program money as well. But
There's just better training opportunities out there for me, for the office as a whole, for all 3 of our programs. We have $1,600 in our training budget for the whole year. I mean, and there's just better places for me to get training in than something that I'm not going to go out and actually utilize. And if I ever have a question on anything, we have our HUD rep that we can email at any time. We have the HQS information. We have all the rules. It's all in writing if I have a question about anything. Or I've got 4 people in my office that are trained to know all of that stuff. So if there's ever a question that I have, I've got resources to reach out to.
What type of training is on your wish list? Or?
Management training for all 3 programs, just an overall management of the program.
Is that something that HUD provides? Or is
I don't know for sure that they have it. Usually they tell you, like, there's like Nan McKay is who we've done training
that's
through in
one
the
with
past.
that booklet for.
Yeah, I don't think HUD itself provides training. I think they have you reach out to third party. Yeah, because Kelly in our office just did one for the Heritage in Ohio back in January, February, and it was through Nan McKay. And that's who I've gone through in the past when I've done a training on the financial side of things. That was also out in Cincinnati. So That's who we usually use. But by the time you add travel costs, hotel,
Sure.
everything, it gets to be a pretty hefty bill.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we just don't have it in the training budget to do much with.
Should you?
But it's on the horizon.
Okay.
Yeah. We're working to try and make something happen.
Do you think some more money should be directed towards training?
If we had it to move, yes. We only get so much money from HUD, so it's just,
Well, they're the ones that allocate it.
well, we allocate it, but
Right.
I mean, what are we going to take it away from? You know what I
Sure.
mean? Like, if you look at our financials from last month, from the end of our year, where did we have extra money to put
Right.
into? We just don't have the extra money. I mean,
Right.
we could take away our office supplies and not use pens and paper, but like our budget is tight and
Yeah.
Right, I
we
know.
just don't have
Right.
the extra to move it anywhere. And we aren't funded by general fund from the city. We're funded by our
Right.
HUD money. So until we can see some extra money coming in, like we've talked about adding more vouchers so we get the extra admin fee, that would obviously increase our budget, but we have to see that coming in on a steady basis in order to be able to make a budget amendment for it. Because if we have high numbers one month and low numbers the next month, it's not getting us anywhere.
Sure. Okay, well, thanks for the discussion on that, and your questions, Yolanda. I guess I'll ask again, for approval of the resolution 2019-03.
Make a motion to approve the resolution 2019-3.
Second.
That certification.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Yeah, thanks. It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution 2019-03, Section 8, Management Assessment Program, CMAP certification. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Now on to discussion.
I know you guys want to do a like go around and see the building. We discussed at the last meeting, at least since Joyce has come on to go around, and if you guys want to look at like public housing units or the Heritage. We did just have the tenant move into West 75th, so she's going to be moving out of West 58th. I can see about having, once that's rehabbed or in the process of being rehabbed, as soon as like our pest control company comes in and clears it of any pest control issues, we could see about touring that one. This one, the West 75th, I would have used that, but she's moving in right away. It just got cleared with the rehab and she's moving in because she's having a baby. And then the Heritage has been a mess because of the fire, so I haven't invited you guys down because we've had dryers and dehumidifiers everywhere, and even right now, all of those units are out of there, but now we've got drywall broken and ceiling. It's just, it's not
Mess.
pretty to look at. I mean, it's livable, but it's not pretty to look at by any means. So I'd rather have you guys come down when everything's cleaned up and looks nice, so you don't think that this is the way it is, because it's obviously,
You know, company's coming. so-
yeah, it's in need of some repairs right now from the water damage. So I just didn't want you guys to think that I've avoided that situation. You guys want to go through and take a look at everything, especially with Joyce coming on. So that's still on my agenda to schedule. I just have to get the right timing with.
Yeah, I just thought it'd be a good thing for Joyce, and I don't know if Gary's been around, but.
Oh yeah, and
Joanna
Gary
and
hasn't
I
either.
had a nice visit a couple of years ago to,
I went to a couple places.
mhm.
I was there. I saw it when the fire was going on and the trucks are down there and the water's flying all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pond on the
Yeah.
first floor because there's nowhere for it to go but down. So
Isn't yeah? 'Cause
it was like a waterfall coming through our ceiling, and we're just sitting there like we can't do anything to stop
what
it.
now?
I saw it on the news. I waited a couple days because I figured you
It was
guys
a
were all
disaster.
very busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw from my place, Edgewater, and that's not good. That's not good.
No. So as far as other discussion, I don't know if you guys have anything, any questions, or
I was just going to ask one thing. I heard something on the news the other day, and I haven't read into it enough, so I don't want to address the topic. It just had to do with HUD changing some regulations on discriminatory housing. But it got me, and as I said, I haven't read about it yet, but it just got me thinking about the gentleman that was suing the city he was a tenant at Heritage, and is that still in the works? Do you know?
Are you talking about like from a couple years ago,
Mhm.
Ron Davis?
Yes, that's it. I couldn't
Yeah,
remember
and
the
they
name.
settled that. Yeah,
Oh, it did.
yeah,
Okay.
they pay. Yeah, they did give him some money and settled that case.
Well, the city did pay
Mhm.
him.
Yeah.
Well, he got paid twice, right?
Just once, to my knowledge, but I could be wrong on that.
I thought he settled one case and there was another.
I
Maybe it
yeah,
was years before that.
yeah, that could be. I don't agree that there was discrimination, and I don't think that's why the city settled it. I think they settled it.
Just
To settle it.
dragging out.
To
Get
avoid.
away.
Yeah. But we get discrimination cases filed against us on a regular basis, and those all usually get. I keep hitting that. Sorry. Those get settled in office. We have HUD come in tomorrow to review 2 files that have been filed against us, but nothing I'm concerned about. And if there was ever one that they did find discriminatory, then I'm sure you guys would hear about it. I'd let you guys know for
Yeah.
sure. But we get on a regular basis, and to my knowledge, we've never had one come
But
back.
On what basis, like?
Well, the tenant that just got terminated or evicted for the taser at the Heritage
Yeah.
filed a discrimination case against me. He thinks I was discriminating against him, and that's their right to file. And then HUD comes in and does an investigation and determines if there was indeed
Did
discrimination
they
or not.
taser another tenant?
He did. He pulled out a taser on another tenant.
I didn't know you could buy them.
Yeah, and we've put him up for
Naive.
eviction. He appealed, went in front of our administrative law judge. She decided he was indeed terminated. Then he took it to court. We went to eviction court because he still wouldn't move out. Went to eviction court, and that judge also told him that he needed to move out. So now he
Wow.
filed a discrimination case against me.
You're such a meanie.
It's their right to do, and
So
HUD will
those-
come
so
in
those
and
get reviewed as far as how many are filed against you or whoever, the manager at the time, and how many win?
I think to my knowledge, none of them have ever won. I would assume I would find out about those so that we could change our there would have to be some kind of training for us if we were found to be in the wrong. And to my knowledge, the Ron Davis one's the only one I know of that has ever happened with. But all of these that we've gotten in our office, and we work with our legal department to file responses and stuff, nothing has come back that we were in the wrong, to my knowledge. I'm sure if they thought we were doing something wrong, surely somebody would talk to us about it. But our legal department helps us with all the filings on everything, so they've never come back and told me any different.
Okay.
You almost have to carry your own taser, huh?
It's scary.
Isn't that considered assault?
Yeah, he got charged with an assault.
Yeah, I must say, yeah.
Yeah, he got arrested for that.
Had you had other problems with him before, or?
He, with his mouth, but not necessarily physically or no type of assaults or anything, but verbally, yes.
Only takes one.
We've had complaints filed against him. He's filed complaints against others. Went back and forth quite a bit, but nothing that we needed to terminate on.
Okay.
Just basically leave that person alone. Don't say that to that person, that type of stuff, until this happened.
Okay. Well, I don't have my calendar with me for September.
Let's look. Looks like September 16th.
Excuse me. Okay. Mark that down. All right, well, if there's no other discussion, I'll ask for a motion for adjournment.
I make the motion for an adjournment.
Second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.